because they're long and straight, suggests your cue action is working. So after the red, the blue, which was straight and the balls were closer, wasn't really a challenge. It's going to be an interesting match, this. I mean, obviously the overall feeling is that Sullivan will end up winning it, but I mean, you just don't know that. Yuan SiJun is a good player. Sullivan is playing okay without being absolutely at his brilliant best.
Eight.
Round off a couple of cushions here. And it's beautifully played. I mean, there's plenty of reds that he could have played on. And he has.
Sullivan will be 48 in December. No discernible reduction in his powers. Still the man to beat after all these years. Well over 30 years since he turned pro. 30 years since he won the UK Championship when he was still only 17. He's won 6 more of those since, which is a record. Of course, his World Championship tally of 7 matches Stephen Hendry's record at the Crucible.
It's all right, isn't it? I mean, he could play the blue up and down with the green away from his spot, but he doesn't need to with the pink. So, much in the middle of the table. So now the applause is because the frame is one barring snookers. I suspect he'll make more than this anyway. I think this is the best little passage of play in the match from him. And quite honestly, yesterday, 4-3 down when Pan Jin-soo made a centre of his own, that was the best we'd seen from O'Sullivan. So he can, as we know, and many people over about 30 years have found out, raise his game.
He finished that match against Pang with breaks of 117 and 64. And it was a terrific bit of cueing to get in for this break. Dead straight red into the left corner. And the rest has never looked in doubt. The usual pinpoint precision with his cue ball control.
Well, there's never been a break builder like him, has there? Let's be honest. And also, I think it's the ease in which these breaks are compiled. This has been a bit of a walk in the park, hasn't it? It's not been a difficult break by his standards. He's kept a lid on everything. hasn't dropped out of position hardly at all. So as far as centuries goes, it won't be memorable for great shots. It will be just another one in a long line of beautifully controlled breaks.
Wonderful, really. Never in doubt. A 15th this season, his 4th here in Wuhan. And 1,217 now for his career.
Yeah, it's very forthright and solid cueing, I think, in this break. He seems to be accelerating through that ball, almost attacking the cue ball. It's a very fine century break.
Superb stuff from Ronnie O'Sullivan. A magnificent break. And a 2-1. Once SiJun breaks off in frame 4. And already this match is of a very high caliber. 112 from 1 to level at 1-all after O'Sullivan had dominated the opening frame without any big breaks. And then a superb 130 just now from Ronnie O'Sullivan to move back in front at 2-1. So this is the frame before the interval. 5 remains the target for victory. Tomorrow we'll have the 4 quarterfinals, which are all over the best of 9 frames. The semis over the best of 11. The final, the best of 17. Sullivan picking up where he left off at the end of frame 3. Another great red.
Well, the 3 reds in a row above the black. The right-hand red looks to be on, but he's going into everything, really. He's playing the double instead. You don't think of him as a great player of doubles in the same way as John Higgins, Mark Williams, but that was in. Nicely played. Wow. What happened to the red there? It seemed to just turn right after he hit it. Fortunately, we probably won't get to see a replay, but it did a very strange thing, the red.
Buy one, get one free. Sullivan does seem to be cueing extremely well.
30.
And it just seems to be sort of free rolling around here. He's got the red on, as I say, behaved rather oddly at the when it nearly went to the middle.
So the 8.
That's where the break ends, 43.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like he was going to go on and make plenty, but even then, 43 with an immaculate safety shot is pretty important contribution, and that's what he's going to aim to do.
43.
Not bad.
One frame all now between Aaron Hill and He Guojing. And Zhang Anda, the man who defeated Ronnie O'Sullivan last week on his way to the English Open final. He's taken the first frame against Liu Haoshan. It's a very, very tight and lengthy opening frame.
Foul. That means Ronnie O'Sullivan 4.
Quite well played, isn't it? I mean, it's from that distance very hard to get the cue ball to a snooker, but I see Ronnie O'Sullivan taps the table. He's covered seemingly on everything. It's a pretty crucial stage of the match, isn't it, really? I mean, obviously, SiJun is behind in this frame by 47 points, but if you could somehow steal it and get to the interval 2 each, then you take some kind of a moral victory from all that. And the balls aren't that difficultly placed at the moment. Not to say they won't end up that way. Well, I think the red by the pink will pot, so it's very much advantage of Sullivan if he knocks this red in. Could be that the frame is about to end if it does. Not a great shot, really, not positionally. Pot went in, but I mean, I think he can pot the yellow, but I don't know what else he can knock in. All the other colours seem to be in the way of each other. So maybe this frame is not going to be that easy to win here and now. Even if he could get to the pink and he could open up a couple of reds, he's a big favourite, but just faltered a little bit in this break. If you can pot the pink, that might just open up other balls. 51 points the lead. Taking a long time on this shot. A minute looking at it. Not sure how he can really gain a full advantage. I'm assuming that the pink is not potable. He can see some of it, but not enough to pot it, perhaps.
So 51, Sullivan's advantage, still a possible 75 on the table. Yuan SiJun came into this tournament ranked at 48 in the world. That's 5 spots below his career high achieved in 2020.
It's a nice, clever shot. The second good shot he's played in this frame, which Sullivan ended up acknowledging. Pretty good response from Sullivan as well. So both players offering nothing from here, but the 51-0 lead is the highly significant factor. Well, there's going to be a thin contact on this ball, that's otherwise it'll hit the black. Playing it cushion first. Tried the same shot as earlier, not so successful this time. It will go back. And I think Ronnie will probably have it put back. So now the lead is building up. 75 still on, so Yuan SiJun can't really afford to leak these 4-point penalties for much longer.
Foul.
Things aren't looking great because he's on the third strike now. He had a clear shot at red, so he'll get warned here.
Zheng Wei Li is the referee.
A different shot he's going to have to play. I mean, he can't risk that again. It would be 3 strikes and out rule coming in. I'm assuming that small conversation was a warning. If you don't hit a red this time and a miss is called, it's end of frame. So often the player will end up playing a better shot than previously tried on the third go. There you are. Can't have happened again, although he has left a long red, but otherwise it was pretty well played.
He's looking very good from long range today, O'Sullivan. From short range, it's the usual diet of excellence, but his long game as well, spot on, and that could be the winning shot in this frame. Plenty there for him to polish it off. There's only 67 left, so one more red would do it. Just feels as though O'Sullivan has stepped things up today. He's got through his rounds up until now. At times through digging in. Wasn't seriously threatened in his first 2 matches. Yesterday he certainly was against Pan Jung-ju and came up with the goods from 2 frames behind. Or from 1 down with 2 to play, playing 2 excellent frames to finish. And today it just feels as though all aspects of his game are there. The long potting, the break building.
I said earlier, I think really, Philip, that he's seeing this week as an absolute chance. I mean, he's never, those home nations, he has won the English once since it was in 2016 when it was the 4. That's the only one he's won. But a lot of these Chinese events are more to his liking, sort of events they are. And I think he's looking at this event as a possible way of getting all those ranking points he needs. And someone's going to have to beat him, aren't they? That's the point. Somebody is going to have to do the job.
44.
If he does come through today, it'll be either Liu Haoshan or Zhang Anda.
49.
Plenty to think about for Yuan SiJun at the interval. He's not played poorly by any means. He knocked in a superb break of 112 to level at 1-all. But he's been frozen out since then by the excellence of O'Sullivan. Oh. The crowd enjoyed that one. He's looking laser-like in his accuracy, Ronnie O'Sullivan. And he's dominated the last 2 frames, including the 130 that he made for 2. And now has extended his lead to 3-1 at the mid-session interval. Even the doubles are working out for him. Field on Table 2 on Discovery Plus. So Ronnie O'Sullivan in charge and has played exceptionally well in all departments so far. Close in, as good as ever. His long-range potting has been impeccable, and tactically he's been rock solid, as he always is. So it all adds up to a 3-1 advantage, including a 130 break. Just to put that tally of centuries into context, the next best on the all-time list is his great rival, John Higgins, who's more than 250 centuries behind. They both turned pro, of course, in '92.
Just a red, I'm afraid. No colour's going to follow. Cue ball was meant to go round the back of the black and be on it into the same pocket as the red went in. This is not going to be of any use either, because O'Sullivan to roll into the bunch is straightforward.
Over on Table 2, Ali Carter is applying the finishing touches to frame 4 to lead Liam Highfield 3-1 at the interval. The big frame was the previous one. Highfield missed a dead straight black into the left corner, which was all he needed, was playing position on the yellow, forced it in, or tried to, missed it. Carter cleared up, and he's dominated this frame after Highfield had an early opportunity, so Carter very much in the ascendancy going into their mid-session break. Carter, who produced a terrific comeback yesterday against Bingham from 4-1 down, playing with a lot of confidence in his game at the moment after his best season for many years last season, which got him back into the top 16. And continuing in that vein in his bid to set up a quarter-final meeting with Mark Allen, conqueror earlier today of Jack Lazowski, 5-2. In the bottom half of the draw, which of course is where Ronnie O'Sullivan resides. Plenty of big hitters left in that bottom half. Judd Trump, who won again today, showing that jet lag is not a factor for him. Certainly the firm favourite to come through the top half, having beaten Barry Hawkins earlier, 5-2. So you can watch Carter and Highfield when they resume on Discovery Plus, but here, early stages of frame 5. Their fourth meeting. O'Sullivan's won the previous 3, all in the home nations, most recently the Northern Ireland Open. Their first meeting, though, since 2019, so it's been a while.
Yeah, those 3 matches all in the same year, weren't they? All in 2019. O'Sullivan taking them all. Of course, in those home nations events, O'Sullivan will always be on the main table, which doesn't do him any harm, let's be honest. Oh, nice cueing that one, and just crept the cue ball top side of the blue, just.
Sullivan missed a tricky red into the right centre pocket in the opening frame, which ultimately he went on to win. I can't recall another ball he's missed in live play. Never fun when you're using the spider, though.
You're right, he hasn't played badly at all. He's almost playing himself into a little bit of form, perhaps. The match is not easy here against Yuan SiJun. It's a way to do it, isn't it? You know, you see players who start a tournament playing the snooker of their lives and then go through a few rounds, they'll get in, still in there, and they'll gradually get worse. It does happen. Lose their edge. It's better to be the other way. And just as the tournament goes on, you build up to the crescendo.
Sullivan, not for the first time today, just having a look at his tip before he played that shot. Of course, he bit it off when he lost to Zhang Anda in the round of 16 at the English Open. Certainly Judd Trump's new tip that he replaced midway through the English Open final has done the trick for him. He's played out of his skin since then. Come back from 7-3 down in the final and 3 very comprehensive wins here. Next up for Trump, it's Tom Ford, who came through a decider earlier against Xiao Guodong with an 89 break in the final frame. An even more dramatic finale in the match between Stephen Maguire and Wu Yize, who won courtesy of a re-spotted black in the decider. And he plays the winner of the Aaron Hill He Guo Jing match, which is ongoing.
Yes, I can think of a few matches that have ended up in a re-spotted black in the decider. Of course, the most famous, I'm guessing, would be that Masters final with Stephen Hendry, Mark Williams, which was a re-spot. Hendry involved in another re-spot at the Crucible against Nigel Bond at 9-all, lost that one too. There might have been another one in the Masters way back as well, because it's to get that far and end up in a re-spot in the decider is fairly unusual. Great fun to watch, not great fun to play in, I think.
And this is not great fun for Yuan SiJun with that little split of the pack of reds. Sullivan in absolute A1 position to go 4-1 up here already. More than 40 in front in this frame.
Very relaxed and serene around the table, isn't he? A nice level of concentration. As I say, he's just building up his form, I think. He's sort of almost the supply of good snooker is becoming his way. He got used to the conditions. Apparently he was like a little jet lagged at the start of the event, like most others that have arrived from the UK, but he's acclimatised now. Whatever happens to him in this event, he looks good. He's playing better now than he was early on. I think he realises as the matches get tougher, he'll have to up his game as well.
This really is an outstanding all-round display from O'Sullivan today. Yuan SiJun hasn't done a great deal wrong, and in the frame he won, he made a 112 break, but He's been completely shut out since then by O'Sullivan.
6-6.
Another frame goes south for the home favourite. Although, I guess you could apply that term to O'Sullivan. They love him here, don't they?
He's very popular. And, well, the point is, he's always played the snooker in a very attractive way to watch. There's always been a lot of excitement. Very rarely has he ever won a dull match.
25.
Certainly the way he's won tournaments will be the admiration of all the younger players, like Yuan SiJun, I think. Right now, I don't know how much he's admiring getting beaten 4-1.
Yuan SiJun has potted just 2 balls since he made that century for 1 each. O'Sullivan will have to settle for 82, but again, the miss is inconsequential. The frame was long since won, and he now... Yuan SiJun has just broken off in frame 6, and in the last 3 frames since he made a century to level at 1-all, the aggregate score 339-2 in favour of O'Sullivan. 130, 64 and 82 are the 7-time world champions breaks. And it's been a formidable all-round performance. Not a great deal that Yuan could have done about the last 3 frames, really. O'Sullivan has upped his game significantly from anything he's produced to this point in the tournament. Yesterday he had to dig in the end to get through from 4-3 behind against Pang Junju. But today he really has looked at the top of his game throughout. So just needs 1 more frame for a meeting against either Liu Haoshan or Zhang Anda. Handy little kiss off the green, and Yuan SiJun needs all the help he can get right now if he's to make a match of this from here. He's been completely shut out, as mentioned in the last 3 frames, by the excellence of O'Sullivan. Sullivan is looking to win his 40th ranking title, and his first since he landed his record-equaling 7th world title against Judd Trump last year. Of course, he's won titles since then. Last season he won the Champion of Champions, beating Trump in that final as well. The Hong Kong Masters, both of those big invitationals, and already this season the Shanghai Masters. So he's still been winning, but in the ranking events he's been quieter. This season he opted not to play in the first 3 tournaments of the season, and last week he bowed out relatively early in the English Open, the round of 16. So with the World Grand Prix, the Players and the Tour Championships in mind next year, ranking points are a factor for O'Sullivan coming into this week. But if he could go on to win this, then all of that becomes resolved very quickly, with 140,000 points going to the winner, 63,000 to the losing finalist. They're just getting back underway on the neighbouring table as Yuan misses the red to the corner. Ali Carter leading Liam Highfield 3-1. Coverage of that continues on Discovery Plus. We will be going over to that table for commentary if this one finishes beforehand.
Well, I guess that was a safety shot, but not a particularly good one. Just a little containing shot. He's left the red up to the top or into the middle.
Once again, an outstanding long pot from Ronnie Sullivan. He has been deadly in that department today, and he knew it was in from very early in the piece. He struck it so cleanly right in the middle of the hole. That is a rarity today. The blue just wide.
Six. Seven. Twelve.
Well, SiJun having to power that in. It's a surprise chance that he's got with O'Sullivan missing the blue just now, but it's not a great table, is it, with both the pink and the black awkward. So not much to work with at the moment, and that's not worked out particularly well positionally. Very good pot. Excellent pot from Yuan SiJun.
15.
That's really nicely played, delicately played, and I think Keeble's gone far enough so he's on the red. Must be tight.
$24. 31.
Not bad. I think he would like to put a bit more on the cue ball there, but he could delicately screw into these reds. 7 reds in the middle of the table, knock 1 or 2 out, and he could have. This shot could enable him to pull a frame back.
This has been an exceptional break so far from Yuan SiJun. There was very little there initially after O'Sullivan's missed blue. Both the black and the pink, which remains slightly awkward, not available, but he's got the black back on its spot. It's a long road back from here, clearly, but he hasn't played poorly. It was just the excellence of O'Sullivan that won him 4 of the first 5 frames.
$43. 44. 49.
So 44 the lead. A couple more reds and blacks would be just too many.
$57.
Yeah, I mean, he's going up for the blue, or if he does, he knows he needs another red. He wanted to be on the black, as I was saying earlier. But, of course, if he gets perfectly on the blue, then another red should follow anyway. In the long run, he probably needs to spot another red or 2 to ensure the frame goes his way. But it has been, as Philip said, an excellent break.
Particularly when you consider that he'd only potted 2 balls in the previous 3 frames.
Yeah, the break's over though now. I mean, he hasn't won the frame yet. 58 with 59 on means, of course, he's got more to do. Pushing the red away from the black would help. That means it's going to be harder to get a red-black. But while he's in the driving seat, the frame is mathematically not over yet.
.58 the difference, 59 left, so Yuan SiJun very close to keeping this match alive by winning frame 6, but still needs 1 more pot. Still 3-1 Ali Carter on table 2, by the way. Well, it thought about staying up. It did a tour of the lip of the pocket, but it's gone in. Sullivan needing blacks at this stage of the frame if he is to pinch it, and with it, clinch his place in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, I think the red up to the top left there would be quite difficult to pot with a black, because it would take a good shot anyway. That might be the saviour for Yuan SiJun, that other red up the table. But, you know, with O'Sullivan, we've seen it all before. He made an incredible clearance from 66 behind in Shanghai. Yeah, I think it was his match with John Higgins. He made comebacks in that match and in the Selby match. But incredible. So, more difficult an assignment than this. That's absolutely perfect. You couldn't have put it better with your hand as to where he's finished. Well, this would be a good shot. I mean, I don't know if he can put it in the middle. It's very narrow down the end, but either way, onto the black makes it more difficult. That's the hard part of the shot to go along with the pot. Not so difficult looking now, the clearance.
This would be some steal from O'Sullivan. Has he run too far, though?
Well, he has, to the point where the middle pocket is almost the pocket of choice here. Very good at getting these sort of frames and matches won. But not going to happen at that visit. Things just built up, didn't it, to almost to the point where it became highly improbable that he would clear.
Back in the frame, though, with the colours left. There's still enough there for O'Sullivan, of course, to win by 1 point and clinch the match.
Foul, please. 我要稍微负。